We're back with our Throwback Thanksgiving rolling right along. Our next batch of chefs are going to serve up the sweet secrets to their Thanksgiving desserts. And again, you can just scan that QR code below to get all of today's recipes and the tips as well. So we're going to start this group with one of our favorites, Melissa Clark, New York Times cooking reporter, recipe columnist. And instead of pumpkin pie, this is what I love, Melissa. You've incorporated one of my all-time favorites, the brown nectar of the gods.
Exactly. Brown butter. It is the perfect thing. I say whenever you're melting butter, just let it go and make it brown because it is so much more flavorful. Here is the thing about brown butter, though. You want it to get, can you see that color?
Yeah,
you want it to get, it has to be dark.
Yeah.
That's where it gets the flavor from. You want to caramelize all those milk solids. So I have the brown butter, and then I have, you know, spices. Cardamom is my favorite, ginger, cinnamon, flour, and a little bit of whole wheat flour. And then in here is the other secret ingredient. Bourbon.
Bourbon. That's the brown nectar of the gods I was talking about. You thought I was talking about
I thought you were talking about
No.
All right, we got both brown nectars of both gods.
All right.
There we go. And then you just want to stir it together. It's really easy. This is a kind of recipe you don't need a mixer. And it was my mother-in-law's recipe. So it's my husband brought it to our family table, and I zhuzhed it up with the brown butter and with the bourbon.
You're a good daughter-in-law, too.
Yeah, I know,
My
right?
mother-in-law. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to get in trouble. I love my mother-in-law, Melissa. She knows that. All right. I'm joking. All right. Lazarus Lynch is here with us now, author of Son of a Southern Chef Cookbook. You're going to stick with the brown butter theme.
I am.
This is your dad's brown butter. You say pecan or pecan?
I say pecan, but if you say pecan in the South, they're going to give you a can of pecan.
They are.
So don't say that.
Pecan.
Pecan.
Right.
So, you know, this is all about love and dessert, right? I love dessert. So we've got our filling already made here with the brown butter, like Melissa demoed, pecans, and corn syrup.
Okay.
My dad used a lot of that when he made it. I don't use as much. But that's going to help it get nice and tacky, a couple of eggs, and vanilla, a pinch of sea salt. Now, here's the key. When you bake your crust, it prevents it from having a soggy crust. We don't want a soggy bottom.
No one wants a soggy
right?
bottom.
A little bit of sugar and some flour, actually, before you put your filling in, can help help it make it that it's firm.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so to blind bake your crust, use a little bit of parchment paper. And we've got these pie weights. You can also use some beans. Put it in your oven at 425, poke some holes in it, and that's going to make sure that the crust is nice and firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lazarus Lynch.
There you
Thank
go.
I'm going to have a piece of the
Have
dad's
a piece
pie.
of that. Let's try that.
Hoda, what you got?
All right, we're surfing over. Here we come. Here we come. We're coming around. We got a familiar face in this place. Alejandra Ramos is here. We're throwing it back to your childhood. What are you making?
So I'm making tembleque. This is a Puerto Rican dessert.
What's it called?
Tembleque.
Tembleque.
It is a jiggly coconut pudding, and it comes from the word temblar, which means tremble in Spanish. So it's super simple. So we've got some full-fat coconut milk, some sugar. You can drop a little cinnamon stick in to add some flavor, some corn, and then you just add some cornstarch too. You want to get a little bit thick. It's like 5 minutes
thick.
on the stove.
And then what?
then we can come right in here, and we can pour it in over here.
Okay.
Stir it all up.
All right.
And then once that's nice and smooth, it just goes into some little buttered molds. And you can do this in a large one or a small one, but I love something with like the little designs on it.
Beautiful.
Into the fridge, sets, and then you can decorate it, a little coconut on top. I mean, I grew up eating this. I made it with my grandmother,
Can I see it?
I made it with my dad. Yes, please taste it. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, so it's great when you're entertaining
And
a crowd.
you're garnishing with real flowers, too. I like that.
Well, I love a little edible garnish.
Oh, my God.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, that's like thick, creamy coconut pudding. Oh, my gosh. Come on, Heiskell. We're surfing over. She's bringing it home because we had to have a Jell-O mold.
Honey,
What you got?
When they said retro, and then Debbie said, "Do you have a Jell-O mold?" I said, "Well, hold on. Let me go get my file folder." And I mean, the hundreds of them. This is my favorite.
Tell me.
It's festive. It's perfect. We have our hot water. We're going to go in with some raspberry Jell-O.
Old school,
And then we're
girl.
going to mix this, and then we have our crushed pineapple. That goes in. Now, in order to make a pretty mold, we're going to want to let this set, half of it set.
What's here?
This is the same thing. This is just the Jell-O.
Just the Jell-O without
Just the
dumping
Jell-O.
anything in it.
And now we're going to do a beautiful layer of the See how that's going to sit?
I see what, yeah, girl, I
Now
see.
this is it. And then a little bit
Rind.
of orange zest. And then, honey, we got the cranberries,
By the way,
and you got to have these.
Canned cranberries, much better than the real kind. Do you? Do you?
Hold on.
No, I love slicing it.
Okay.
Come on.
It is
It's
fun. And
tasty.
it's fun when it comes out of the can.
I
I have to admit
Poke
that.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Now
but
what?
listen. All right, so here we are. And then we pour this over the
that.
top. Yes. And then it's all going to set. Now, this mold was my grandmother's. This was her mold that we poured it into.
Yep.
It's very similar to that.
Yeah.
And then you unmold it, and there we are. This was always on my grandmother's
it was.
table.
By
I
the
mean,
way,
for
I can picture
Thanksgiving,
it.
but for Thanksgiving, literally,
Yeah.
it wasn't Thanksgiving unless
you had it?
Cousin James was drunk and this was on the table.
Cousin
I mean,
James.
that was it. That was it. Otherwise, it wasn't Thanksgiving.
Love you, high school.